Hello, and welcome to Developing Story. I'm Zac Davis, an associate editor here at America Media in New York City. Yesterday, the world watched in horror and disbelief as the 850-year-old Notre Dame Cathedral went up in flames. It took nearly 400 firefighters to put out the blaze, and French officials say that while the main spire and much of the roof is destroyed, the cathedral structure and iconic bell towers have been saved. Today, Melissa Vida joins us from Paris, where Vigil for Notre Dame just concluded. Welcome, Melissa.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
As we begin today's discussion, I want to take a moment to remind our viewers that you can send us your questions and comments through the story, about the story, through Facebook or Twitter, and we will try to answer as many possible here live. Melissa, I'm wondering if you could walk me through what was the mood in Paris yesterday as people were watching these events unfold right before their eyes?
Well, a lot of people actually found out what was going on just by walking in the street, actually, without going on social media, and so that was a big shock. What they heard first were glass shattering, the smoke, the noise that the fire makes, right? Things that you don't really think about when we see coverage from afar. You don't feel the heat or don't hear the cracks, and this is something that has at first people have been viscerally impacted by. And then people started gathering around the cathedral, and really what permeated the mood was fear that the whole structure would crumble down, because it took hours and hours for the firefighters to quell the fire in a careful manner, and so to not destroy the structure by using too strong means, right?
Right.
So it was a very tantalizing moment for them to see how to see what was going on, and at the same time not be able to do anything about it.
So what were people doing? We saw images of people just sort of watching with, in horror. We saw videos of people praying and singing hymns.
Yeah. Well, that's what people were doing, right? And so it's something that is uncommon to see in a country where people believe that faith is gone, when actually it reemerges in that way. And there were a lot of prayer groups, hymns were sung, and people were just in unity facing the horror of what was happening last night. And that is something that right now is like a cup of fresh water for France.
This might seem like a silly question, but could you just say in a few words what exactly Notre Dame means to the French people?
So it means something for every French person, and that's what's really intriguing about Notre Dame, is that for some people it is the landmark, historical landmark. It is where Clovis, for historian fans out there, established the capital city back then, and then a lot of historical landmarks happened through the cathedral. It is also, of course, a religious symbol for the faithful. It is something that represents so much culturally as well in the imagination of literary fans, with Victor Hugo's Hunchback of Notre Dame. And for most French people I spoke with, it's actually the combination of these three things. So it's really a historic, cultural, and religious symbol for most of the people I spoke with today.
And so this firefighting went on well into the night, correct?
Yes. It was 12 and at around, if I'm not mistaken, 10 p.m. It was under control, and then this morning at dawn it was completely extinguished. However, it is, I mean, what's really great about this is that, well, 1,000 square meters of the roof have been destroyed. That's really unfortunate. But the rest of the structure is still standing. I could see it from here, actually. However, it'll take 48 hours still to make sure that it is stable, and so they're testing the structure right now to see there's not any major cracks in it. And so it's still fragile.
And how is the mood shifting from last night in total fear and wonder what's going to happen to this morning, Parisians are waking up to news that it's stable? Were people back in the streets again this morning?
Yes. A lot of, well, the thing is, people stayed out in front of the cathedral the whole night, praying and watching, really as if they were caring for the old lady. They really call Notre Dame, which means Our Lady, their old lady, and so it was as if they were at the bedstands of a loved one, taking care of her. That's really the image that came back quite frequently this morning, as she was saved. I'm using she because that's how they talk about her, right? She was saved, but and it took. I mean, it was a short call because 15 or 30 minutes in, it could have. I mean, the structures would have crumbled. The two towers would have crumbled. The mood has changed because the fact that it did not crumble, and the fact that inside the cross hanging at the altar was the only thing around the altar that was not damaged and really shown in pictures, really gave a lot of faith and hope to the people of that are following Notre Dame, which are Catholics and non-Catholics, right? And also, there are a lot of solidarity movements in the sense that a lot of people are making donations for the reconstruction of the cathedral. A lot of church leaders are also using the term that this is the generation that is going to rebuild the cathedral. And so people are having this renewed sense of hope and ownership in a way that indeed they will rebuild the cathedral in unity.
Yeah, there was news today that President Emmanuel Macron said that vowed to rebuild Notre Dame within 5 years. Is there a sense that people are inspired by that they believe that? Do they think it's realistic?
Not really.
Yeah.
They do believe that it's going to be rebuilt. There's no doubt about that. We don't know exactly how it's going to be rebuilt. If they're going to use, a 1,000-year-old bark, or they're going to use metal frames right now inside. So that's going to be a big debate, and it will also influence on how long it will take to rebuild the cathedral, and what kind of methods are going to use. And indeed, people think more in terms of 10, 15 years time frame.
Gotcha. I've got a question from Anthony on Facebook. With the social turmoil that France is going through at the moment with the Yellow Vest movement, what's the impact of this tragedy going to have on the country as a whole?
Well, it's funny. Yesterday, Macron canceled a speech he had to make with regards to the Yellow Vest movement. And as we know, France has been undergoing a lot of social turmoil these past few months. And indeed, there is a sense that people from all political parties and political ideologies have felt deeply the tragedy of the loss of part of the cathedral, right? And everyone felt that fear, and now everyone is also behind the reconstruction of the cathedral, and so it is a sense of unity that is going through French society right now. So we'll see in the future how that can translate with social turmoil with the Yellow Vests, right?
Right.
But for now, at least.
Melissa, you were just at a vigil that just wrapped up. Could you just briefly describe what that was, who was there, and what happened?
Mm-hmm. Sure. So it was a vigil mainly organized by young Catholics for young Catholics, and there were a lot of people. It was packed. I would say between 1,000 to 2,000 people here near the cathedral. There was a small orchestra, a small choir, playing Catholic hymns, and the people there were mostly college students, and they were all singing in unison these Catholic hymns, and so it was really a sense of gathering, and then of recognizing what happened, but also the speeches pointed towards that we're going to rebuild the cathedral together, which serves as a broader metaphor as well as to rebuild France.
Easter is obviously just on the horizon, and this happened right in the middle of Holy Week. Is there any sense that, if not the cathedral, maybe the square around it is going to be used for any Easter services this weekend?
No, it is not, because there's a big perimeter of security around the cathedral. So from what I've gathered until now, they're thinking of using the nearest big church, which is called the Saint-Sulpice, and that is the one that they will use for now for Easter. And we still don't know if that is the church which will replace the Notre Dame for the Archbishop of Paris.
Got it. Melissa, thank you so much for your reporting that you're doing there live from Paris. And thank you to our audience for joining us on Developing Story. For more videos like this, subscribe to America's YouTube channel. Thank you and good night.